every one of us to do. Save your life till the end of the year. That is the only priority. This is the why so? One can see here the status of this graph, kff.org, which is publishing the statistics of how younger adults are more likely to report symptoms of anxiety or depressive disorder or both during this COVID-19. You see here the ages 18 to 24, 56% of the youth either anxiety or depressive disorder. The ages 25 to 49, about 50%. So practically the entire below 50 generation, more than 50% impacted. And the elder generation also not far behind. Back with anxiety and or depressive disorder, and the really elderly people at 65 plus, close to 30%. So the entire population of the world impacted over 30% at least, right up to going almost up to 60%, with very serious concerns like anxiety and or depressive disorder. One can see here the average share of the adults reporting symptoms of anxiety and or depressive disorder. This comparison is just between 2019 and 2 years later, that is this year in 2021. The NHIS has released the statistics of 11% is the number that was impacted with anxiety disorder and or depressive disorder in 2019. And this data is also supported by the 2 years later data, which is the US Census Bureau Household Pulse Survey, which shows that in 2021, a whopping 41% people, 4 times the number of people of 2019 being impacted by anxiety and or depressive disorder. One can see here the share of the adults reporting the symptoms by age factor, how the graph looks. And just a poll of how are you feeling run with the employees of, in this case, of a company. Here it's published in hrexecutive.com, and the employees, what they feel, the source of the data being MetLife, it says that 34% of the employees feel, 22% feel discouraged, 19% distracted, and 17% depressed. Now, that's not at all something which one could call a healthy work-life culture. The work life itself being totally imbalanced, where instead of looking at factors like success, ambition, and even as philanthropic and noble factors, none of them seem to be center stage. In fact, it is the other way around. It's quite concerning that most of the employees are feeling that more than half the time at work, they are actually facing psychological issues and mental issues, right from distraction to getting burnt out and feeling stressed, tired, and discouraged. One can see here the Stress in America 2020, where the American government itself has done these studies. The American Psychological Association has actually released this data that nearly 8 in 10, to be more precise, 78% say nearly 7 in 10, 67% say they have experienced increased stress over the course of the pandemic. Now, that's what the government is actually calling a national mental health crisis, because more than 70% of the people experiencing stress in their life as a way of life, as literally as a part of their life. And that is singularly because of the COVID-19 pandemic and due to no other reason. And 1 in 4 essential workers, that is a very concerning 25% have been diagnosed with mental health disorders since the start of the pandemic. So imagine, so this data is from apa.org, and one can imagine the essential workers, the ones who are our front line of defense against this COVID-19 pandemic, because they really need to be at the forefront to help people battle this crisis in multiple levels, at the physical level, medical level, psychological level, and they themselves are getting impacted, with 25% of them actually being diagnosed with mental health disorders. So it is what one can call a complete breakdown of the system in all levels, be it at the family level, at the company level, in the work-life level, or even in the medical level, where this whole problem, the whole crisis is a medical crisis. And COVID-19 could exacerbate doctors' existing mental health burden. This is what ABC News is flashing, where more than 60,000 US healthcare workers have contracted COVID-19. So we saw that 25% of them are actually having mental health disorders. And then on the physical level, more than 60,000 healthcare workers in the United States have contracted COVID-19 and 300 have died. This is from the CDC data. The Journal of Medical Regulation goes on to say an estimated 300 to 400 physicians die by suicide every year. And the JAMA Network Open says that of the health workers who treated patients during China's COVID-19 outbreak, 50% showed signs of depression, 45% showed signs of anxiety, according to the preliminary research. The self-reported mental health among pregnant women and new mothers says before the COVID-19 pandemic, 15% would face depression due to at the time of pregnancy, and 29% would face anxiety. And right during this COVID-19 pandemic, a whopping 41% almost facing depression and 72% facing anxiety. Needless to say, this would result in all kinds of issues, not only for the pregnant women, the nursing mothers, but also for the offspring who comes to life with this kind of a stress syndrome in the mother's womb. The US cases of depression have tripled during the COVID-19 pandemic. A large study finds a dramatic increase in the number of adults in the United States reporting during the COVID-19 pandemic. One in 4 US adults experiencing symptoms. Before the pandemic, 8.5% of US adults reported being depressed, and that number has risen to 27.8% as the country struggles with COVID-19. So this is again from the American Psychological Association. And here we can see the number of employees in the United States feeling burnt out. The statistics showing 76% of the US employees are currently experiencing worker burnout. 57% say worries about the COVID-19 have been a contributing factor. 33% say worries about political issues have contributed to their burnout. So here, almost double people, when it's about just for 30% having concerns about the political system, a whopping close to 60% are concerned that their stress cause is actually because of just singularly the COVID-19 pandemic. And the COVID-19's impact on the mental health shows 78% of the global workforce says the pandemic has negatively affected their mental health. 85% say their mental health issues are causing sleep deprivation, poor physical health, reduced happiness at home, strained family relationships, or isolation from friends. 68% of people would prefer to talk to a robo over their manager about stress and anxiety at work. 76% of workers believe their company should be doing more to protect the mental health of the workforce. The youth segment, the young workers are hit the hardest, as one saw in the previous statistics. Also, the age groups from 22 to 25, 89% being hit, 26 to 37, about 83%. And then the next group from 38 to 54 is 73%, and 55 to 74, again, not very far behind, is 62%. The younger respondents were more likely to say that the pandemic has had a negative effect on their medical health. This source of data is from Oracle and Workplace Intelligence. One can see here exactly what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been warning about for the last more than 3 years, when he is saying that the corona pandemic, when it comes, the pralaya, when it happens, This is not going to be something that's going to be over very quick, and it is going to take its toll, because it is not just a physical ailment, a viral pandemic. It is also going to impact human beings on a very fundamental level, right from their mental health, their psychological wellness. And that is what is going to cause the ripple effect of all the damage that we are seeing today in the world, whether it is being readiness for quarantine. A lot of these factors, as we can see here, mental health arising from people feeling concerned, stressed, frustrated. And we saw at the start of the first wave of the pandemic how people were actually rebelling, even going anti-life by saying that we do not want to face the quarantine and we would rather die than be in quarantine. Now, only Kailasa and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism have solutions for all these problems which the world has been facing, and no medical fraternity, no government has a solution to. Number one, how to save oneself physically from this COVID-19 pandemic. And second, how to save oneself from the mental health breakdown that one faces and the whole world is facing to such a large extent, to the numbers of practically over 50% of the entire population being impacted by these very mental issues and psychological problems. The solution, as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and Devi Parashakti reveal, being be a part of the enlightenment spiritual ecosystems, the de facto spiritual embassies, specifically in India, because the Kirimi Bhojanam or the hell has already landed here. These de facto spiritual embassies of Kailasa would provide protection on multiple levels, because it's a multi-layer quarantine facility being enabled and provided to one and all. And secondly, because of the huge spaces in the de facto spiritual embassies, one does not feel the frustration and the claustrophobic feeling which otherwise a quarantine facility leads one to face the further brunt of the repercussions of the side effects of the claustrophobic feeling. Needless to say, the mind already being impacted and stressed and worried about and depressed about the physical onslaught of the COVID-19 pandemic. So the only solution, as one can see right from all these statistics and the data, why the multi-layer quarantine facility and why Kailasas in India are mandatory for one to not only save one's life, but also to practically retain one's sanity, and not just that, but actually experience, even in this time of a global pandemic and a crisis, the opportunity to experience the quantum leap to super consciousness, which is what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is leading humanity into. So having said this, we'll go right into what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been doing to prepare the world, not only how to tide over this global pandemic, but also to push humanity into the quantum leap into super consciousness. So what all he has been doing right from the most auspicious happening of his on planet Earth, we will see in just a few minutes after a short break.
What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. and setting model community. Kailasa, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Peethas all over the world. All powerful cognitions, knowledge, only when you live, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. It's a fundamental truth. Hinduism cannot live exclusively as one sampradaya. No. All sampradayas of Hinduism is an ecosystem. So don't keep quiet thinking that if one sampradaya is attacked, only that sampradaya is going to be affected. All of us are ecosystems. I invite all of you to get involved and enjoy Hinduism by the principle of Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. When you protect Dharma, Dharma protects you. We will make the whole planet flourish spiritually. The spiritual prosperity will happen to the whole planet. We all have to coexist together. What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. And setting model community. Kailasa, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Peethas all over the world. All powerful cognitions, knowledge, only when you live, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. It's a fundamental truth. Hinduism cannot live exclusively as one sampradaya. No. All sampradayas of Hinduism is an ecosystem. So don't keep quiet thinking that if one sampradaya is attacked, only that sampradaya is going to be affected. All of us are ecosystems. I invite all of you to get involved and enjoy Hinduism by the principle of Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. When you protect Dharma, Dharma protects you. We will make the whole planet flourish spiritually. The spiritual prosperity will happen to the whole planet. We all have to coexist together.
What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa.
I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. And setting model communities. Kailasas, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Pitas all over the world.
All powerful cognition.
Yes. So now we're going to see the contributions from Kailasa's services in combating the pandemic fatigue and other mental disorders for youth. The Kailasa's Department of Religion and Worship, and in collaboration with the Department of Human Services, and each of Kailasa's temple ecosystems consider the right of happiness, right of bliss, to be the highest fundamental right of all the humans. The ultimate goal for Hinduism and Kailasa, led by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Parameshwaram, is the material and spiritual well-being and prosperity of humanity. Kailasa is a place where everything related to superconsciousness is revived. All the sampradayas, or the spiritual ecosystems created for enlightenment, will be revived and established in such a way it never gets lost again. They are forever serving the humanity. Now, you're going to see a glimpse of all the different contributions from Kailasa's Department of Religion and Worship, and also the Department of Human Services, how they have empowered the humanity with a superconscious breakthrough. Here, what you see is the peacekeepers of Kailasa and participants of Paramashivoham meditation workshop take part in the celebrations of traditional flag hoisting ceremony in Virdi. And what you're seeing here is the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism conducting the Nithyananda's Purana Convention Program, a meditation workshop in 2006. And on the same year, 2006, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism conducting the Nithyananda's Purana Convention Program in St. Peter's Engineering College in Chennai. And the same year, where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and the peacekeepers of Kailasa embarked the Himalayan Yatra, traditional sacred pilgrimage to Himalayan mountains and up the river Ganga. And what you see here is on 2011, the temple ecosystem of Tiruvannamalai serves as a driving factor in maintaining the lifestyle of wealth, health, and well-being for denizens of Tiruvannamalai. And here you see peacekeepers of Kailasa and participants of Paramashivoha meditation workshop take part in morning traditional puja or the ritualistic worship. And here you see the peacekeepers of Kailasa and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism voluntary contribution of physical service towards the cleaning and construction of the sacred Hindu temple Adi Kailasa. And just by his hard work and persistence, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has established the Kailasa ecosystems around the world in almost in all the continents, radiating the superconscious evolution for the humanity. And what you're seeing here is right way back in 1994 itself, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, how he received the Kailasa in Tiruvannamalai, Arunachala Sarvanya Peetham, and how he revived the same Arunachala Sarvanya Peetham in 27. You can see thousands of visitors and delegates receiving the Diksha, initiation, and the learning the Kalpataru, the workshop to manifest your reality in Tiruvannamalai. On March 11, 2017, thousands arrived to celebrate the Enlightenment ecosystem and to traditionally meet the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in Tiruvannamalai. And you see glimpses of the different Kailasas ecosystems that are established around the world, right from Los Angeles, Ohio, and then you have California, San Antonio, and then you see St. Louis, Missouri. Then we have the temple ecosystem in Phoenix, then in Houston. Then you'll also find these temple ecosystems being in Toronto, Canada. And now we're going to see these temple ecosystems play a central role in ensuring the pandemic fatigue is in combating the pandemic fatigue as youth. One of the components that these temple ecosystem beautifully provide is the spiritual routine during Brahma Muhurta, and how the spiritual routine and Brahma Muhurta helps in its effectiveness in overcoming the pandemic fatigue. Now let us see celebrations to by Devi Parashakti, where Devi Parashakti on 12th of May 2021, she revealed that I came as Nijavatara and I am blessing you, listen. To do good to all of you, I have taken the form of Nithyananda and came down as Nijavatara. Carefully. Listen, time after time, Bharadam is Jnana Bhumi, where enlightened beings come. We cannot make the Jnana Bhumi as infertile. Enlightened beings have to come. They have to live, it has to flower. Few hypocrites, because they are stuck in delusion, we cannot sacrifice the world. Cosmos cannot be destroyed. The ship I did to save the cosmos from being destroyed, that is called Adi Kailasa. The ship I did to protect the beings from Pralaya is Adi Kailasa. Because of the conspiracy of Drohis and enemies' rule, the captain has to leave the ship. Before 12 years, knowing the great deluge that is going to be Aushadas, by this Guru Purnima, that Jnana Rasavadam Navapashana is going to flower. Allow people to come and take a dip in Navapashana flower. People, whoever comes and dips in Vaidya Sarovar, they will not have their dip. They will not. Crores and crores of people will come by every day. They will come and dip in Ananda Lingam. Listen well to my words. For India, I made the ship as protection. The Nithyananda Navapashana Lingam and Vaidya Sarovar. Go to Adi Kailasa. O Indians, listen. All those regretting losing the Nithyananda Nijavatara, without confusion and without taking just as a lip service, go to Adi Kailasa. So they are looking for health, Navapashana, water feast, and medicine to get health and protection and enlightenment. To protect India from this great destruction, I, Parashakti, made this huge ship. Even if the captain is not there, ship is there. When the first countries closed their border during this massive global emergency, Swamiji, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, has opened the embassies of Kailasa, one all without exception. These de facto spiritual embassies offered free food, free accommodation, free internet services, and more than anything else, the spiritual incubator, Adi Kailasa, that is going to protect them from all the impacts of Pralaya. It's open for free, unconditionally to one and all, to protect and save the humanity. The ship is not there, the ship is there. It is the grace and compassion of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to open his doors of Kailasa to one and all without any exception. So join us in kailasa.org/Kailasa Care and register yourselves to this opportunity. The free COVID care centers that are opened across India includes the Adi Kailash in Bidadi, Bangalore, Salem Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Thiruvannamalai Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Rajapalayam Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Puduvai Adinam in Puducherry, Pattanam Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Sirahapadi Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Sripuram Adinam in Hyderabad, Madurai Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Avattipalayam in Erode, Tamil Nadu, Hosur Adinam in Tamil Nadu, and Baroda Adinam in Gujarat. Multiple free COVID care centers are opened across India that offers the various social services, spiritual services, and more than anything else, the revelations of Devi Parashakti, how she prepares the humanity to combat the Pralaya. And the number of social services that are offered during the COVID in the factor spiritual embassies include number one, medical care, that includes allopathy services, Ayurveda and Siddha medicine. Number two, infrastructure to accommodate thousands. Then accommodation for multi-layered quarantine facilities and emergency ambulance, which is IC1. Personal protective medical equipment, food security management through food banks, and then we have organic farming. So you have the opportunity for us to, for everyone to join us in COVID care protection centers, which is kailasa.org/Kailasa Care, kailasa.org/Kailasa Care for everyone to join. Let's take a few minutes to join. And we'll take a. We'll be right back.
Listen intensely. Life, consciousness in you does not end while your body drops dead. It moves from different universes, vertical time zones, lives in different time zones as per its free will, knowledge, desire. But ultimately to get enlightened. Complete liberation. Paramashiva Padam. Your soul has to come back to this karma bhumi, the Bhumandala. This Bhumandala and the Jati ecosystems, the caste ecosystems, Hindu, Jnana, Sannyasa, Yoga, Grihastha, multiple spiritual ecosystems are created for the souls to come back and rebirth and grow more and more towards enlightenment easily, quickly, in accelerated speed and space. Understand the secret of Sayujya Mukti. Your Kundalini Shakti experiences the bondage inside your body due to compulsive sexual appetite. All the male bodies building intense yogic body through yoga and pranayama, building the mind of Tyaga-centric, will heal your compulsive sexual appetite and make you reach Sayujya. All female bodies, love-centered care, serving every being, will liberate you from the compulsive sexual appetite and make your Kundalini reach Sahasrara, which is Kailasa, Parama Shivapada, Sayujya. Listen intensely. Life, consciousness in you does not end while your body drops dead. It moves from different universes, vertical time zones, lives in different time zones as per its free will, knowledge, desire, but ultimately to get enlightened, complete liberation, Paramashiva Padam, your soul has to come back to this karma bhumi, the Bhumandala. This Bhumandala and the Jati ecosystems, the caste ecosystems, Hindu, Jnana, Sannyasa, Yoga, Grihastha, multiple spiritual ecosystems are created for the souls to come back and rebirth and grow more and more towards enlightenment easily, quickly, in accelerated speed and space.
Next, we have the spiritual routine that is being practiced in this COVID care protection centers and how this spiritual routine protects you from pralaya. Members of Kailasa's protective preventive multi-layered quarantine initiative take part every day in morning spiritual routine here in Adi Kailasa Sarvangapeetham. The morning spiritual routine consists of Nithyananda Yoga, Panchakriya, Nithyananda Pratyakshapada Puja, Kashayam, which is a herbal drink in the morning, followed by the Nitya Satsang. Tune your biological clock to the spiritual practices because the chemistry you enjoy really matters. That decides the kind of plane of the universe, the dimension of universe you're going to experience, Kailasa or Patala, Swarga or Naraga. Morning spiritual routine is the direct path to Kailasa. So in Kailasa COVID care protection centers, this morning spiritual routine is inspired to all the participants for them to directly achieve the path of Kailasa. And why this morning spiritual routine happens in Brahma Muhurta? What is Brahma Muhurta? Brahma Muhurta is a period of 2 Muhurtas, time unit of 48 minutes, about 1.5 hours before dawn. Time for spiritual practices like prayer and meditation. According to Ayurveda, the time between 4:24 a.m. and 5:11 a.m. is known as the Brahma Muhurta. The very first written verse in any Ayurvedic textbook always explains about the daily regimen that has to be followed for health and well-being and to also experience longevity in your life. The Ashtanga Hridayam, the scripture beautifully talks about health and for achieving long lifespan as desired. The benefits of waking up in Brahma Muhurta at this time, a high level of prana, which is necessary for the body, is adequately present in the atmosphere, and the activities of the entire world, and especially the living beings, are yet to be started. Hence, the pollution is very at its minimum. The cheerful atmosphere has a considerable effect on the mind and body, especially when the world is fighting with the issues of restoring the immunity once you're exposed to COVID-prone air in the outside world. For you to boost your immunity, this spiritual routine, especially doing it in Brahma Muhurta, simply has a tremendous effects in your body. Ayurveda has given a deep thought to the daily routine, which aligns our day-to-day life perfectly to express our maximum potential and capabilities. This starts with getting up in the morning. The quality of our waking up decides the energy level for the day. A peaceful, fresh start is always better to a dull, lethargic start with a heavy feeling. Tuning our biological clock to the rising and the setting of sun is the best way for reversing the aging process. Waking up during Brahma Muhurta puts us in the perfect synchronization to the natural clock. We also have Panchakriyas, which activates almost all the vital systems in the body: digestive, respiratory, circulatory, and the nervous vital systems. These spiritual routine the spiritual routine and the impact of practicing the spiritual routine during this Brahma Muhurta is truly appreciated by the participants, especially the COVID Care Protection Center participants who have joined us in Adi Kailasa. So we have many more exciting updates from the COVID Care Protection Centers of Adi Kailasa. So we welcome each and every viewer to avail this opportunity during this pralaya. It is so important to protect yourself and your loved ones. So we welcome every viewer to register yourself in kailasa.org/Kailasa Care for you to join us in these COVID Care Protection Centers. Thank you one and all for watching this segment. And next we're going to have the Power Manifestation segment. Before we join in the Power Manifestation segment, please stay tuned and we'll be right back.
We get you health. We get you ability to build beautiful relationships in your life. We get you direct spiritual support, and we make sure you become wealthy. We won't stop giving you just good life. We will literally not stop till you live enlightened life. Manifesting the state of Paramashiva, space of Paramashiva, powers of Paramashiva, being of Paramashiva. Whole world should become Kailasian.
I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that.
Kailasa is proper customized spiritual service helping you to identify your root patterns of suffering. We have perfected the science of helping every individual from every cultural, religious, nationality background. You will have lowest reactionary assumptions, highest awakened response, alive response for life continuously. Kailasa is enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself in your own home, wherever system, literally.
Let's start with the Sadguru Vandanam. Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. What is power manifestation? Let's hear from Bhagwan himself explaining what is power manifestation.
All the 25 states of consciousness, when they happen in you, due to your chemicals and hormones ups and downs, it is powerlessness. When it happens in you, out of your free will and consciousness, it is powerfulness. That's all. When you fall into sleep, it is powerlessness. When you enter into sleep, it is powerfulness. When you fall into dream, it is powerlessness. When you decide to dream, it is powerfulness. So I have added the ultimate powerfulness, Turyatita, in your whole being and doing. Manifest all the powers. Understand, power manifestation is nothing but cognitive shift. It is not work. It is cognitive shift. Understand? It is just cognitive shift. It's not work. Work is a 4-letter word. Power manifestation is cognitive shift, playing with life, playing with being alive. Static matter, dynamic activity, strategic existence, all these three has no boundary. You are one with it. You are alive in everything. Everything listens to you. Everything decides as you want. Power manifestation is cognitive shift, raising your frequency, not work.
Beautifully, Bhagwan explained what is power manifestation is raising your frequency to the conscious space. Now, Bhagwan gives science of power manifestation. Science of power manifestation, it is a science because each one of you can manifest and it is repeatable. It is authentic, time-tested and scientific and foolproof. The pramanas, the evidences, always we start with the evidences that a human can experience the superconscious breakthrough. And each of the powers, how the evidences have clearly given for us to understand that we can manifest the powers of Paramashiva following these beautiful steps. Shastra Pramana, the evidences from the Shastras, the scriptural references for each of the powers. Eternal, unchangeable truth revealed in the source scriptures, the Vedas and the Agamas. The Apta Pramana. The Apta Pramana are the experience of the Rishis, Munis, Ganas, Nayanamas, Alvars, Siddhas, so many of them. All of them are authority of Hinduism, manifesting all the powers of Paramashiva, which is scientific and foolproof. Atma Pramana, Bhagavan himself, account of His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, this millennium's avatar's personal experience of power manifestation. Bhagavan himself played the Leela, each of the Leela, to make us understand a human can experience the superconscious breakthrough. And it is very simple for each one of us to have these experiences and more start living as superconscious being, conscious being. Shakshi Pramana, the Pramana, evidences of the experience of millions of disciple, devotees, followers like all of us who have experienced the power, all the powers of Paramashiva and initiated by Bhagavan himself. Bhagavan has beautifully said, whoever comes to the Kailash Kotiyar manifesting power group simply will manifest all my powers and simply I will manifest through them. Bhagavan's blessing. And Pratyaksha Pramana, measuring the effect of being in the enlightened state. Again and again, Bhagavan clearly shows that whoever experience these powers, these are Shakti because they go into the thoughtless space and connect to Paramashiva, experience the oneness with consciousness, manifest as reality. Bhagavan has beautifully given this as a science for all of us to understand how we can have a breakthrough. Let's go to the Shastra Pramana.